Hey there, welcome to Hermit. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Jackie. We're so excited to invite you into our safe space. Hermit Haven is like a cozy little hideout where we get to celebrate being confident in ourselves as we find happiness in quiet moments.
So grab your favorite blanket and your favorite drink, and let's dive into today's episode.
Hi, I'm Jackie. Welcome back to Hermit Haven.
Hi, I'm Ashley. We're so excited to have you this week. We're going to be chit-chatting about something super fun. I don't know, I love this topic because it really makes me think about my grandparents. We're going to be talking about traditions. My grandparents were super big. They always told this story about how they both came from nothing, and like my bubby grew up in an orphanage. My papa, he didn't really have much family, and so when they got married, one of the biggest things for them was to create traditions with their kids and their grandkids, and it's so special to think about someone loves you that much that they want to continue to do these things with you. Like that's, I don't know, there's so many, and there's like we were talking about it before we got on here, but like we don't even realize as adults what we see as traditions as like when we were kids were just normal routines that our parents made magical for us.
Yeah, when we were talking about that, I was like, I feel like I should think about it like that more often. We often think about like routines and sometimes like I love a routine, don't get me wrong, but I feel like routine can sometimes feel just so like you have to do this and you have to do that. But if you think about it as like this is my morning tradition, I go for a walk. How much more whimsical is that feeling, right?
You mean, it's like thinking
Just like
about like,
click.
if you had donuts or every Shabbos, right? Or like every Saturday morning you had, I remember growing up, that was super special. Not, I wouldn't say like in our household, but like the very Jewish households, you would find sometimes where they would always have brownies for Shabbos to make like Shabbos
Yeah.
super special. So every Saturday morning you would wake up and you have like a fresh brownie. And so it's like, that's kind of like what I think about it. Like as a kid, my parents would always say you can have candy for Shabbat. And we'd always like, they would let me like go to the store and pick out my favorite candy. Like that was our tradition.
I
Like,
love that.
I don't know. And I think that's what it is. It's repeated out of love. Like, there is no like, I don't know, like, it's like the person that's doing it is purely doing it out of love. Like, it feels different. It doesn't feel like, like, it doesn't feel like, oh, I have to go to school. Like,
Yeah, it's
because
fun.
yeah, first day is the first day and we all go first day of school, but it's the traditions behind the first day of school. Like, how does your parents make that feel special? How does your teachers make that feel special? That's why the first day of school feels so magical.
Yeah, whenever I think about traditions, I was telling Ashley before we started recording, like I think of holidays,
Mhm.
right? Like I think that most people, when they think of the word traditions, they think of holidays. I think. I don't know. It's how I think of. And then I was starting to think as we were talking, and I was like, wow, like Friday nights, we do our sleepover nights at our house. Gavin slept in our bed from age like 2.5 to 5. Then after that, like we were like, well, we can do one night a week. And so Friday, and he's 10 now. And Friday, he's still every single Friday night, he's like, I'm so excited for today. And I'm like, why? And he's like, it's sleepover night. Like they're so pumped. And Pierce, everyone sleeps in the bed. I forfeit my sleep basically because it's not easy. But that's like it's our tradition. They both know it. We both get excited for it. And I just never thought of that as a tradition until we were talking like 5 minutes before this. And that's just so fun and special. It makes me feel so good as a mom. Like, look at me go.
Mhm.
Not even that I
You're
don't have to
amazing,
really
mom.
plan it. It just fell into place.
You're an
You know?
amazing mom, though, but I feel like something we were also talking about because you are such an amazing mom. Everything you do for your children, like you set up so many magical things throughout the year, and that's the two different things we were talking about too before so we kind of like had a pre-talk, if you guys can tell. We had to kind of
Yeah.
prep ourselves before we came here because we always do. We always have like a kind of like a side chat, and then we jump on because we're like, oh, we're gonna, say all the things before we get
Okay,
here.
let's start rolling because otherwise we're just gonna have the whole conversation without even recording it.
Literally, because that's what these literally are. But we were talking about how there's two different types of traditions too. Where there's the traditions we don't realize, we're creating, and then the ones that are like, okay, we know we're gonna do every single year because, like you said, the holidays, like you're gonna do the same things every single year, and I think it's gonna change obviously through season, through how many kids, what you have going on, who's in town, where you're going, blah 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 blah. But there's certain things that are just never gonna change. That you're always gonna make sure some form of some way it's gonna happen, right? And I think that's the thing is like, I don't know. I think when we think of traditions, like you said, we think of the things that are going to be like, I have to schedule, I have to do, but that's not always what traditions are. There's things that were done purely out of love that became a routine, that became something special, that became something more. And sometimes it's just literally like, I don't know, like it could be a silly song that you sing with your child every time they wash their hands, or it could be a silly song that you sing every time they go to the bathroom. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, whatever you started with your children, right? Because, and the thing is, that's what's so special about it, right? It's unique. It's something special for you and your family, for you and your friends, even, right? Like maybe the tradition is something like, I don't know, I don't know.
It
I'm
doesn't
like,
have to be like
ah.
it doesn't even have to be like a big planned out event. like, I don't know, sometimes we think about traditions, we think about
Mhm.
some elaborate thing, but a tradition can be absolutely free, like our
Yeah.
sleepover night. Or, like you said, like maybe after, I don't know, a certain situation, like you do something silly, you sing a song before bed, you probably have like a little routine, but that's kind of like a little tradition, right?
Yeah.
I just really never thought about it like that. And now I'm going to call everything that I do a routine, my little tradition, and it's going to be so
It's
whimsical. I
I don't
love
know.
it.
I just think too, like something my Bubby and Papa always said about traditions too. Like they were always big about saying, like, well, these are things we're gonna do with you, and then maybe if you really loved what we did with you, and if it was really that special, you're gonna take on this love that we're giving you to the next generation and the next generation, right? Like that's how and I think to this day, like everyone still, that showed up for Passover is still cooking Passover with their kids or some form of Passover, is still desiring that love and that tradition of eating that sponge cake that my Bubby made and or my Papa made, like the whole thing, right? Like everyone wants that, right? I still like want the tradition of going to my parents' house for Passover and having my mom make me orange bread. I'm like, what, 30? I'm gonna be 34 years old. I'm like, Ema, I'm coming over. You're making me a loaf of orange bread and I need some cream cheese for it. And I'm gonna be there for Passover. All right. I already looked up the dates, get my order in. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just certain things that, like, it brings you home. It makes you feel human again. It makes you feel like, I don't know, you're part of something too. And I think, like, we're thinking about traditions, like, a tradition, again, I think it could be with anyone, right? You can create a tradition with anyone. I think it's just easy to think with your family because you're so close and you're so connected, right? But there's other things you can do with other people and other things. I think too, it could be something small too. Like try something out. Let's say you guys have a really good time going to a bar, right? Let's say you and your friends are like, hey, we really like going to this place. Let's make a tradition we go all the time. Like I remember when we lived in Colorado, it was like a tradition every weekend we were gonna hang out with Katrina and Garrett. Like it literally became a tradition. Like, all right, where are we going this week? Where are we going to explore this week? Like it just became part of it, you know? It was a tradition for me and Jackie to take the boys to Disney until I didn't live there anymore. Like what? We went to Disney like what, 4 years in a row, 5 years in a row with the boys, right? Like it was our summer tradition, right? Like
Yeah.
Jackie and I like found things, that we were like, I think those are anchor points too. When you have these traditions, you're coming back. Like, I think that's why, some people that go the same camp every year, that's a tradition. They go to that same camp, they're going back to that point. Like, they know they're going to meet those people again. They're going to see those things again. They're going to experience that experience again that they love so much.
Yeah. I mean, it could even be something as simple as maybe you have like a long distance best friend or you don't live near your family and maybe every Tuesday night, like you guys
Mhm.
FaceTime each other and like have dinner together or, I don't know, just chat, whatever. Like that's a tradition too.
I
It
know.
just, yeah.
One of the things
I
we've
don't,
been trying to get back to is playing like video games on the weekends. Like
Mhm.
that was our thing for a long time. We would play Mario Party with the boys, like play like a
Yeah.
round or two before the kids went to sleep. That was like every week we
We're
did
supposed
that.
to be doing Friday night game nights. Gavin still brings it up, but we like things, things get in the way, obviously. Like things started getting in the way and then we kind of get out of it. So we need to get back into the Friday night game night
Yeah.
situation, whether it's with you guys Mario Party or we'll do like a board game. Like a board game. I have a friend that does they do pizza every Friday night. So they don't have to cook on Friday nights. We were making pizza like for a long time for Friday nights and then I don't know. I think we just kind of got bored of it. But like it can just be something as small as that. We go to the same pumpkin patch every single year. It's this like church right down the street from us. I don't know. They're always like the last ones to get pumpkins too. We wait for them every single year and we
Yeah,
go
I
there and
remember you
get
telling me
it.
about that. Okay, so we didn't write
Yeah.
show notes. We didn't talk about this ahead of time because, like I said, we started a conversation. Then we're like, let's make sure we record the conversation. But like,
Mhm.
I think something we can like really talk about too that we've been talking about is like romanticizing these traditions, romanticizing
Yeah.
this, right? So what does that mean, right? So does that mean taking pictures? Does that mean living in the moment? Does that mean going home and journaling about it? Does that mean, what does that mean for, I don't know. I think that's something part of it too. It's not just doing it, but romanticizing it, like truly being part of it. So I think, it could be, okay, maybe we take the same photo every year and then put our phone down, right? Or maybe it's we all wear the same matching shirts, right? Like whatever it is, I think that little details and I think that's what makes the difference, right? Like you could be part of a tradition, but you're never going to feel joy from the tradition. You're always going to feel its worth
Yeah.
if you're not romanticizing the moment, right? Like how special. I think this is just like how my brain works, but like how special is it that there's a group of people, it doesn't matter if it's your friends, your family, if it's people that you went to college with that you meet every 4 years, like whatever it is, how special is it that there's someone out there that wants to spend a routine time with you? That means that they traditionally they want to schedule you, in their time and say, okay, we're going to do this every year. We're going to do this every 4 years. We're going to do this every 2 years. We're going to do this every week, whatever it is. Like they are like, let's make this a tradition, not just like a one-time thing. Right. And I think that is what I think is so special about traditions too, is like the thought process behind it. Like someone cares and loves you so much that they're like, let's make this happen because if no one speaks up, it's not going to happen. Let's be real, Like a
Yeah.
tradition doesn't happen if someone isn't making sure it's happening, right?
Yeah.
There is someone. It might be multiple people, right? It might be one person, it might be multiple people. And I think that's like what I love about traditions is really the love behind it. Like there is pure love.
Yeah. Like that like spills into everything too when you make something a little bit more magical, whimsical, just more fun, whatever that means to you. Like it
Mhm.
just makes it exponentially better. I decided in the mornings for my traditional morning walk I'm going to listen to a certain audiobook. And I downloaded an audiobook. Actually, it's an audiobook I've already listened to, but I just really liked it. So I was like, oh, in the mornings for 30 minutes, that's when I will listen to this specific audiobook. So I look forward to it because I really like the book. And so I was like, oh, cool. Like I get excited for my morning walk, even if I'm not necessarily excited to go walk because I get to listen to this specific book and just like kind of making things, even at your work desk, you could have it set up a certain way. Maybe not if you work from home, or even if you work at an office, whatever. But like if you work from home, especially, you can have like a candle lit and like a certain music that you play and like kind of like set the ambiance. Like that could be your little tradition when you sit down to work that like you get into work mode, and it can be as small as that. Now that we're expanding this and really like thinking about it.
No, I think too, going like even a step further, but like, what if that's the missing piece? Like, what if you're trying to love on yourself more and give back to yourself? Maybe you need to create traditions with yourself. So, like,
Yep.
maybe creating a tradition in the count, like, okay, every once a month, I'm going to go to a coffee shop, listen to
Yep.
whatever music I want, order coffee, and just do whatever I want on my computer and just chill and not be bothered, right? That could be a tradition. Or, like, what if it's a tradition that, you're going to go get your nails done once a month or, whatever it is? Like, I think that's
Yeah.
just like, maybe that's the missing piece. Like maybe we're just thinking of life that it has to be routine. Like what if we're overthinking about stuff? Like literally,
Yeah.
what if that's
We are.
it? What if we're just overthinking,
We
Jackie?
are. I saw this girl. This is totally reminding me. I think I saved her video because I just loved her so much. But she was talking about how on Friday nights, she does all her like personal financial stuff on Friday nights, right? And so she gets dressed up. She gets sushi. Gets sushi to bring home, and I don't know, she like lights candles and she like sets this whole scene. It's just literally her doing her budgeting on a Friday night, and she's like, it's my favorite, and because she makes it like so special, and that's like her tradition. Isn't that? I love that. Isn't
Laughing
that
at
cute?
that, I thought you were talking about this other lady that shows up on my algorithm that also buys sushi and alcohol, but she sits in her driveway and drinks it by herself. And that's her
Does she
tradition.
have kids or something? Why is
Yeah,
she
she
sitting
leaves
by?
her husband, the kids in the house,
Oh,
and her husband's her server when she needs something from the house,
love
and she,
it.
and she sits in the car and she eats her sushi and drinks her wine.
Sometimes if I come home
I was
and maybe I'm
laughing.
talking to someone or I'm listening to something and I'm sitting in the car, Glenn will come out to the garage and like look at me like, why are you still sitting in the car? And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, what do you mean? Why am I still sitting in the car? Like, this is my think space.
It's so true. I've always said since I was like younger that like my car is my office. Like anytime
Yeah.
I'm in the car, I'm in my office. Like don't leave. Like just let me be in my office.
You know,
But
one thing I did tell myself, and I guess this falls, I really didn't think any of this fell into like the tradition category. When we were like, oh, traditions, I was like, cool, it's almost the holidays. We'll talk about holiday traditions. But since I saw that video of the girl with the sushi and her little date, I was like, I like to meal plan on Thursdays and go knocked my little microphone, and go shopping for food on Fridays. I don't know. It just works out the best for me. There's like no one there, mental health, whatever.
yeah,
So I was like, I should go to a coffee shop every Thursday and do my meal planning at the
love that.
coffee,
I love that. That would be such
right?
a good tradition.
So tomorrow's Thursday. I'm like,
I love that. No, I love that. I think something
uh,
too, like, so we're talking about traditions, and I think, like, in my head, like, when I'm planning my schedule, I, like, don't realize that it's becoming a tradition. Like, me and Ari have, like,
yeah,
one day a week where we just go do a little mommy adventure. Sometimes we have a play date, and sometimes it's just mommy and Ari, but, like, there's always one day a week where I plan, okay, if we don't have a play date, we're gonna go do something together. Like, he just, like, I don't know. It's just, you don't realize it when you're planning your calendar, you're creating these moments, and I love that. I think,
Yeah.
talking about this as we continue, like we're gonna keep going more into this idea, but next week we will talk more about like our weekly rituals and just like little research and just things that we're doing to keep up. And I think this really goes together because when you have these traditions, you have to make sure you're planning for them. You have to make sure they're happening. You have to make
Mhm.
sure you're prepping. I think that's the mental load behind it, right? There is something behind it, right? If you look back on all your favorite memories and all your current memories, what are they? They're going to be traditions. They're going to be things that are, besides the things from like we talked about last week with like the ordinary of the beauty life. It's not just the small things sometimes. It's the traditions. It's the things that happen all, there's something that feels homey. There's something that I know when I show up, I can be myself. I know this is what's going to happen. I can let go my guard. Like it's nothing new. It's nothing different. It's something that just feels full of love and feels pure and it feels like it's wrapping me in a blanket and I can just be myself.
I feel like consistency makes us feel safe.
Yeah.
And so a tradition is just a consistent thing that you do, whatever it is, big or small. It's just like something that makes you feel safe. And that's why, yeah, that feeling.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I
Yeah.
think and I think I realize now the older I get why Bubby and Papa kept saying like when we pass away, if the only thing you take from us is our traditions, I understand it now because they'll always make us feel safe. They'll always make us feel at home. They'll always make us feel loved. They'll always make us feel enough. They'll always make us feel that we deserve everything in the world.
Yeah.
Because in that space we are safe and we are
Yeah.
at home. I think as people that want to grow, as people that want to be part of a community, as I think as people that want more, finding ways you could create traditions with your friends, your families, even if it's just something simple like always giving your friend flowers for their birthday or always making sure that, on Sunday you check in with them, right? Like creating those simple little traditions is what matters. And because at the end of the day, when you're 130,000 years old and people are talking about you and you're telling your stories at the nursing home, right? You're not going to remember what you bought. You're not going to remember the gifts you were given. You're not going to remember. You're going to remember the small moments. You're going to remember the traditions. You're going to remember the things that were part of you. And that's why we're going to talk about rituals and tradition and like resets next week because that's also part of you, right? You're going to talk about those little things that make you, what you did each week to become this person that loved life so much, that you have all these stories, that you are this person that said, me and my friends every year did the same thing, whenever it was, or me and my kids every Christmas went here, or whatever the story is, right? How special. I always think about this with Ari, right? I think it's so cool that he's gonna go, my mommy worked at Disney, my mommy worked at SeaWorld, my mommy hosts a podcast, my mommy does all these things. My mommy is just fearless. These are the things my mommy does. Like, he's just gonna talk about me. He's gonna say, my mommy, my mommy's always shows up for me. Me and my mommy always play together. Like, these are things he's gonna say. And I just love that, knowing that I am able to make other people feel as magical as I want to feel and make other people feel that they can be part of these traditions. And it doesn't matter if they've never been part of these traditions before. And I think that's something like Jackie and I growing this community on Hermit Haven is that's part of it, right? Like, how, as we continue, what traditions do we want for Hermit Haven? What traditions do we want to implant in this like
Yeah.
podcast? Like, I don't know. I love
Yeah.
this topic. I just think when we think traditions, we just think that, like you said, the very basic, like, but it's like an iceberg. Like, there's more to it.
Yeah, people just see what's on the outside. And there's like so much, I mean, not always, but sometimes there's a lot of planning that goes into it. And so we, as the people, if we're the ones making the memories for bigger traditions, just like make sure to pat yourself on the back. Cause especially like in December at my house, little elves come and visit us. And trust me, there's a lot of work that's involved in all the little elves that go around my house. And so, we always just kind of like, I feel like as I say we, but like I know I do this and I just assume everyone else does it too, that we just kind of like brush off like, oh yeah, like cool, we did that. But like, no, but you actually put work into it. Like I give up sleep on my Friday night to have our sleepovers. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's always, we sacrifice a lot to have these really fun things for our children or sometimes, for ourselves. Like there's always, there can be sacrifice involved. And so
I want to say
yeah.
too, it's okay if they're like you feel guilty because and it's we're all gonna feel this way. Like, oh, I could have did more for this holiday. I could have did more for this event. We're always gonna feel that. But
Yep.
just it's normal. Just drop that,
Yeah.
right? Just
Yeah.
know today you can start.
That's
You
life.
can start now. You can start tomorrow.
Yeah.
You can start anytime. And it's just sitting down. And sometimes it's like we keep saying, find where you want to put your time and energy. Like
Yeah.
maybe you
Priorities.
don't, yeah, like, there is, unfortunately, your kids are only going to be this age once, or you're only going to have the experience once. What do you want to do with that time and energy? I think as time goes on, it's as much as we want to spend our time making sure our house is perfect and making sure that that's not going to be important. It's what we're going to be talking about again next week is that scheduling. It's the rituals, like putting these things, resetting, like making sure that we have these things on our calendar, like, okay, I have a calendar. Okay, but what do I have planned on that calendar? Like making sure that each week I'm working towards that goal. So Jackie's already talking about, the elves are coming to visit, right? These sweet little elves are going to come visit her. Well, she might need to start thinking about how they're going to get there safely and what they're going to, because, they're a little messy sometimes too. She
Or
might
they're going to hang out in the house.
yeah, and like I don't know, they're sometimes a little messy, I've heard. So she might need to start thinking about cleaning supplies
Yeah.
and just like things to help the elves not be so messy, right?
Yeah.
And
And for
so,
some,
oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, for some people, it is too much work. It is too much work to have the elves, and I get that. You know what I mean? You can't host the elves because it's just too much work. But on the flip side of it, I can do that. But when it comes to birthday parties, some people have elaborate birthday parties every single birthday. Love that for them.
Mhm.
That is not my desire. Like, it's
Exactly.
just not. Like, I'd rather
I love
either do something else, like this year we went on a cruise, or just have it somewhere else. Like, that's just not my desire. And so
Yep.
it's okay if you have different desires from other people. And with what Ashley was saying, like, we could all, sure, like, you could all say I could do more every single day. I could be like, oh, I didn't do enough today every single day, but like, that doesn't help anything. So just like, do what makes sense, what your priorities are, and just let go of the rest,
Yeah.
because as long as you're happy and your family's going to be happy, it doesn't matter. Like, you're the
I
one
think
that just has to like
mhm.
let it go.
I agree 100%. Another thing, and this might sound really rude, but like read the room. If your kids are raving about this one experience, do it again.
Yeah.
Read the room. If your kids are like, oh my God, do you remember that time we went got ice cream after swimming? Go do it again. Like, it's not that big of a
Easy.
deal. It's not that big of a deal if they have ice cream before dinner. It's really not at the
Yeah.
end of the day. Like, I know, and I know that's going to be harsh hearing that, but at the end of the day, nobody's going to remember how many calories they ate. No one's going to remember what they actually ate for dinner that night. They're going to remember that time where they were so excited about something and you listened and you went. And you're going to remember that time you were so excited that you created that experience and reward it with such love afterwards. So much like gratitude from your children. Like, I think that's what it is. Like, read the room. Like, if you hear your partner saying, oh my gosh, I love that time you made me that cake, go make that cake again. I know, right? And I think that's the thing is like, we want to put energy sometimes in things that we hear is popular. We want to put energy in what our neighbors are doing. We want to put energy in something like we heard or we saw.
Yeah.
We don't need to do that. We don't
Yeah.
need to do more than we already are doing. What you are doing is perfect. And you is perfect because the people in your life love you for you. They don't love you because you're someone else. And that's what these traditions are about, is loving people because they are they and inviting them into your home and creating these like, I don't know, like routine based, like this is what a tradition is. It's a routine base, right? Like it happens. You know it's going to happen over and over and over and over and over again. And it may be something every week. It might be something once a year. It might be something every 4 years. It is something that is so special.
Yeah. Love it. I love this
I,
topic. I
I
really just thought we were done talking about holidays today. And I was like, oh, look at us. Like, so many traditions that we do.
all the time. I think, even, and I think too, when you're starting a new experience, maybe think about what traditions can I create around this experience to make it even more special. Like we
Yeah.
are starting to go to swim class, right? What traditions can we create around swim class, right? So, after swim, Matt is doing swim class with Ari. So last week they took a shower together afterwards. I was like, well, why don't you guys take a shower this week together? Like create a tradition about it. He's still little. It's not like it matters, Like enjoy that one-on-one time with him, that snuggle time. He's so little,
Yeah.
He's gonna grow up and be like, I don't want to shower with dad anymore. I don't want to be anymore. I don't want to be with you guys anymore. Leave me alone. So I just think I just love it. I think coming into the season, we're going into fall again. Think about these things. What traditions are you creating for fall, right? Sit with your calendar. It's not just about going to the pumpkin patch. Think about maybe we all want to wear matching shirts. We want to take the same photo every year at the same pumpkin patch. Or Jackie said, we just go to the same pumpkin patch. That's enough for us. Right? We love you all. We'll see you next week to talk about our weekly rituals and routines. Bye-bye. If you would like to catch up with us, you'll find us on any social media and you can hear any of our old episodes on any place that you heard this episode. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for spending time with us today and being part of our Hermit Haven community.
We hope you enjoyed our cozy chat and are inspired to embrace your inner hermit.
Remember, even in the quiet moments, you're never alone on this journey because we are truly all in this together.
So until next time, stay cozy, stay true to yourself, and keep spreading love wherever you go.
Bye for now.
We'll see you next time.